Good morning, folks. October 9th, 2013. We're on our improved memory module. Just wanted to make some comments on the acronym assignment. Well, actually, before I do that, I think it's clear on the combination of the journal entries, quizzes, readings, class exercises, that it's repetitive, and in fact that's critically important. So if you're feeling like, wow, all of these 5 learning activities each module, there's a lot of crossover, well, there's a reason for that. It's necessary. By the time you're done with all 5 of those learning activities each chapter, they've reinforced one another, and you should have a pretty good clue about key concepts in that chapter. So don't be frustrated that there's repetitiveness. That's fine. It reinforces things. It allows you to remember the material better. Go with it. The alternative is I overwhelm you with all kinds of material in all directions, and you remember very little of it. And you cover it for the exercise, you cover it for the quiz, and then it's gone. But with this approach, and I've never done it this way before, and I'm kind of glad, again, this online environment has motivated me to, or required me to set things up in a way that I'm really happy with, and I think it should have some results. So stay with the program, hang in there. We're basically at the halfway point, maybe a week from it, and so far so good. Okay, regarding the acronyms, a good acronym really, each letter stands for a word that represents a concept. And if we go to and by the way, I attached 2 documents in the supplemental resources folder of the assignment folder for Module 7 that include a bunch of acronyms on academic success and life success. Let me quickly use as the example the SPOKES acronym. Each letter stands for one of the 6 dimensions of wellness, and so whenever you design an acronym, you want each letter to stand for a word that represents the concept you're shooting for, and instead of just jumble jivey to stick anything in there. The letter probably should represent a noun that clearly ties into or is associated with the concept you're trying to learn. If in using an I, you say if, well, you're going to remember if, but then you're going to say if what, as opposed to I for intention. Boom. Okay. Intention as it relates to memory or whatever. But make sure don't utilize those letters within an acronym for verbs, adverbs, whatever, because it's going to make it more difficult to remember the term. Once in a while you have to cheat, but you need to make sure that letter is as closely associated to a relevant term as possible. And as you look over, and please review those 2 attached acronym listings that I gave you, you're going to see that each letter represents a term that clearly ties into the overall subject. The stressed acronym. The one of the E's is exercise. Direct. It's no. If I had used one of the E's as efficient, Well, efficient what? Exercise clearly, boom, ties into stress. I hope you understand what I'm getting at here. And again, the reason for the acronyms is, as college students, you're going to have to memorize a lot of information and data. And some of it is critically important, and you want to have a structure in your brain that allows you to remember some of the key concepts. And these acronyms are ideal structures or frameworks that allow you to attach the key concepts to it and remember it more easily. If I just try to rote memorize, pages of text, number one, I'm not that bright, and two, it doesn't organize. It just requires amazing memorization skills. But by you developing your own special framework, and an acronym is a special framework, it allows you to extract key terms and information and remember it in a format or an outline or a framework that you developed. And it's always easier to remember information when you're kind of controlling what you remember and how you remember it. So these acronyms are awesome tools. I know I've gone into job interviews before with a couple acronyms in my head of what I wanted to make sure they were aware were my key skills that I could bring to the table for that particular employment position. And through the course of an interview, if someone, you get wrapped up in all the interpersonal dynamics and stimulus around you, and a lot of times you won't remember, and you don't want to have to refer to a sheet. Excuse me 1 second during my interview, I'm going to read off, that's not good. You want to have it attached to something. So an acronym is a great way to have it in your head, and when the employer says, Matt, what do you think are some key assets that you bring to this job? They're there. I've got them. I don't have to kind of struggle through. Let's see. Number one was number two. No, they're there. That it helps alleviate stress and tension and anxiety in quizzes and tests because you've got a fixed structure that and by the way, you have to study acronyms. Just because you've developed one and it works and it fits and it's tight doesn't mean you don't have to study it and review it, because I still forget these. I take great pride in the acronyms I've developed. I still forget them. Because you've got to study them. You've got to look at them once in a while, review them, or you forget. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking for. The purpose of this isn't just to assign you exercises on memory stuff. These are tools that down the road can be incredibly helpful to you for remembering information. All right, if you have any questions, private message me. Thanks and good luck.